In perhaps his biggest ever stance on immigration, President Donald Trump has declared his intention to end birthright citizenship with an executive order 1 week ahead of the midterm elections.
He wants to end the constitutional right to citizenship to babies born in the U.S. to non-citizens. Take a listen.
We're the only country in the world where a person comes in, has a baby, and the baby is essentially a citizen of the United States for 85 years with all of those benefits. It's ridiculous.
So there are actually 30 countries that offer birthright citizenship. Here in the United States, it is the 14th Amendment of the Constitution.
The president's hints at an executive order are sure to resonate with the Republican voters leading up to the midterms. But today, we wanted to know, can he actually do this?
KXAN's John Dapkovich talked to an expert in constitutional law at UT Austin who says there's almost no chance an executive order on the issue would survive a challenge in court.
Let's start with the most simple question.
Okay.
Can the president do this? Does the president have the authority to do this?
You know, there are lots of questions of constitutional law that are pretty nuanced and people can have reasonable disagreements about. This one's really pretty clear. The 14th Amendment says that all persons born or naturalized are citizens of the United States and in the state in which they reside. It's very straightforward. Now, people may debate about whether or not this is a good policy, and should we amend the Constitution. But this is one where the Constitution is kind of exquisitely clear.
I was once told that a good lawyer knows what the opposing lawyer's argument would be. What would be the president's legal team's argument for this if they were to try to make one? Is there an argument, I guess, is the better question.
Well, let me address that in two ways. The argument would probably be that an early interpretation, a lawyer might try to say, well, at that time, they didn't really anticipate a situation like what we have today. And the Constitution has to grow with the times. The other part of your question, though, is that we don't know what the executive order would say. And so it's conceivable that the executive order that he would issue might actually avoid this clear topic that you and I are talking about here and do something about immigration.
If you had to give this a percentage chance of becoming a reality, what would that percentage be?
1%.
And why 1%?
Why? Because the Constitution is so clear.